Steve, let me ask you about the iPhone and the Zune, if I may. The Zune was getting some traction, then Steve Jobs goes to Macworld and he pulls out this iPhone. What was your first reaction when you saw that?
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine.
Quite often we see a person, celebrity or company having a successful life, and the first thing that comes in our mind is how in the hell they reached to such heights. And when it comes to success, no one can ignore Apple. We have many more companies with much more innovative products than Apple, like Microsoft, LG and Google. Yet this company called Apple has enjoyed the revenue growth from 8 billion to 180 billion in just short 10 years. But how? Hey everyone, this is Pakhtun Geek and welcome to the second episode of Inside the Outside, where I dive deep into the tech industry with you guys, so let's dive in. It all started back in 1976 when a company by the name of Apple Computer was established by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. The business started by the production of Apple I desktop computer in 1976. Shortly after that, in 1977, Apple II hit the market, but due to its high prices, its initial impression on market was not quite that right. As a whole, they struggled a lot for almost 30 years, and finally the real magic began with Apple with the release of their most successful product, the iPhone. And since then they are the ruler of tech industry, and as they are releasing their new products day by day, the chances of this huge empire falling seems quite rare. So what is the secret? When you ask a normal person how you can reach your product to the mass, the reply you get is by advertising. But how you advertise your product? It's just simple. Make an ad and hand it over to Google or Facebook, which are real monsters right now in the advertising industry. And boom, you have attention from everyone. But Apple doesn't think that way. They know a better way around. Apple don't want their product to just stay a product. They want their product to be considered a class by the mass. And how they do it? First thing they do for it is just set high prices for every product they release, and second thing they do is putting their products in the hands of celebrities, your favorite footballers, the most popular politicians, and every famous person on internet. Almost everyone has an iPhone, so everyone thinks these high standard people use Apple products, so we should buy one for ourselves too. So if you have an Apple product, you are a part of this so-called high standard class, and if you don't, you're not considered one of them. As I mentioned before, Apple knows stuff beyond the word marketing. When buying a new product, many people nowadays search for reviews about the products, and YouTube is the best place for it because it does not only review the product, it also shows how the product actually looks in hands. And apparently somebody told Apple about this. A lot of your favorite YouTubers are sponsored by Apple when they are reviewing their products. I'm not saying it's just Apple, many other companies are doing it too, but many times reviewers are sponsored and we don't even know it, and everything they tell us about the product is taken by many people out there as the honest opinion of the reviewer. So there's a chance that they might lie about some of the features or hide some bad things about the product. When it comes to attitude, Apple has it more than my ex. But you don't have an ex. What? You don't even have a girlfriend. Whenever Apple makes a big change or takes a serious decision, every second person talks about how bad the decision is. They shouldn't have taken that step, they were far better with old style and blah blah blah. But even after such rejection and such hate, they don't say anything and they don't come forward to justify their decisions, nor they take any of them back, and they stay silent through all these talks. Because people want to criticize and nothing else, and they believe in themselves. If they think something is right for them, it's right no matter what, and almost every time they are right. And after throwing many comments against them, people eventually calm down and they accept the fact that this was something good by this company. Samsung has S series, Note series, A series, Grand series, C series. LG has a G series, Stylus series, K series, X series, and almost every company has these versatile series, and their quality and prices are different, but Apple has a very limited option in every department. Like when it comes to mobile phone, they have an iPhone and iPhone Plus. In laptop, they got MacBook and MacBook Air, and just like that, they try to stay in some limits. They always try their hands on high-end products, but when they make cheap products, they are still much expensive. In other companies like Samsung, for instance, their flagship device like S5 and the low-end device like Grand Prime looked exactly the same, which is not something you should do, Samsung. If I'm paying extra $400, I need something that can make me feel that I paid extra money, I got extra features. For me, when the word innovation comes, Steve Jobs is the person that hits my mind. One of the reasons behind Apple's success is the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Jobs. There are many other people who did a lot more than Steve Jobs did for the people, but that doesn't mean we should ignore Jobs' contribution to the tech industry. During Jobs' leadership, Apple was on its way to success, but the board pushed him out, and for 12 long years he was not part of Apple, and the company during those days did nothing new. In fact, they lost $1 billion and was on the verge of bankruptcy. Realizing its failure, the board asked Steve Jobs to come back and lead the company back to its bright heights, and they started the Apple success back, and it is the most valuable company today. Steve Jobs was a complete package. He gave us the first personal computer with terminal and keyboard. Although it was Wozniak that created that machine, but Steve was the one to make this incredible engine public. He was the man that gave us graphical user interface. He was the man that stored 1,000 of songs in our pocket. He was the man that introduced us to the smartphones. He certainly was a complete package.